made up about 5 years ago. It goes hand in hand with the giver, and it's called the Color and Music Activity. I'm going to walk you through pretty much how to do the lesson and the materials and how to use them. So you see, first we have a split screen here. We have two things. The first thing we have on this side over here, the right-hand side, we have the handout. And of course, on the left-hand side, we have the Google Slides presentation. That is pretty much a mirror image of the other thing. To get the Google Slides presentation, you can see right here, there is a link, okay, and that will take you right to this presentation. So it's all linked together. Also, at the end of this video, this title will be linked as well to this video, so you'll be able to click on that if you don't remember how to do this lesson. So let's go through it. Alright, so first of all, you can see the title slide, and then we have directions, which are pretty much the same as what's being set up here. Basically what we're going to have you do, we have a series of slides basically with colors, okay? All different colors, and we're having students view the slide for 15 seconds on their own, and then they're going to write down their first 5 reactions. This can be done in a multitude of ways. You could do it individually, where each kid receives their own paper and physically writes down those things, or you could have every kid with a Chromebook either typing their own copy on their own sheet to get their own reactions. You could also do this as a class activity where you could put in more numbers and make the chart even bigger and have everybody contribute at least 1 or 2 on their own line, or you could even have it as a group activity where you have one recorder and they give you the top 5 things that are coming out of their group as a collaborative document in Google Docs as well. So there's a multitude of ways that you could go about ascertaining information from this particular thing. Now, of course, the idea here is to get free association. What do kids think of when they think of red? What's the first thing that comes to mind when they think of yellow, blue, green, black, white? Okay, to get their first reactions and get that free association activity going. Then we switch our senses a little bit. We have 4 musical pieces, and they're all got a couple classical pieces, a little Vivaldi here, some jazz with some Charlie Parker, and we have the theme from The Exorcist. Okay, it was just kind of got that spooky connotation or theme to it. So it's they call it Tubular Bells, that song. So it's a variety of pieces of music that bring a lot of different things to mind, as well as the colors, and for the free association activity. So then we explore the next step as to why. Where did some of the ideas originate, and how does this relate to the giver? We talk a little bit about philosopher John Locke, okay, and a little bit how he had this idea of something called tabula rasa, which is no innate ideas, and the fact that we are just a blank slate, and through our lives, as we gain experience and knowledge and concepts, we fill our slate up with all these things, and each concept relies upon another. So when we go through that, after we do that, of course, you can play a little taboo with them, because that's kind of the whole concept behind it. In each one of them, we have a YouTube clip of a clock embedded right in here, just like the YouTube clips for the music was embedded into these slides. But these are countdown clocks, 1 minute. They have to stand up in front of the classroom and describe what a dictionary is without being able to use the word book, words, definitions, Webster's, or meaning. A lot of times in the first couple they don't do so great, and of course then they realize why they're not doing great, because it's hard, because in order to understand, describe what a diamond is, okay, you need these other concepts. It's really, really difficult to do. So we have about maybe 5 or 6 examples of that, and then we go back to our handout here, and we start talking about our reflection of this activity. Where did these ideas originate? Okay, why do you think of this particular answer for your reaction? So we start to analyze why they maybe said sad for blue or danger for red, or why they thought this was like a horror movie, or maybe this is why they associated this with like a Masterpiece Theater or something like that. They always go back to those concepts. Also, we also have our next question here. We take a look at some passages from the text, and we see about in the giver how Jonas, doesn't have the knowledge or even the basic concepts to understand how to describe pain because he's never felt it. People in the community haven't felt it, and of course, then we have another quote from page 89. He says, "There'd be no way to describe." What was going on in the annex room? How could he talk about a sled without a hill or snow? Having those concepts. Okay, so we take a look at how this game we played in this activity relates to Jonas's struggle, his conflict, why he can't have the right precise language to talk about his feelings and experiences here because nobody shares that common knowledge. And then we go back to John Locke and what did he mean by no innate ideas, and how does it relate to the memories that Jonas experienced? And then we go to take a look at our taboo game, and we try to compare our struggles with precise language to Jonas's struggles, and we can and shows the basic idea with these discussion questions after they're experiencing the three different levels of free association and concept attainment. To really get the kids thinking about, when language is controlled in this utopian community, the ideas become controlled. And the fact of the matter is that it's not, maybe it's something that we need to really criticize and scrutinize to say that we need to understand that we shouldn't be limited in our knowledge. A community should not limit what its people take in. And by doing so, we are just that much more ignorant because we're not given these, or maybe naive is a better word, to understand these greater concepts. So by controlling the basic concepts, you're really putting a limitation upon yourself to understand greater concepts and to grow and be more intellectual. So I think it's a great activity that's really simple to do. That gives kids gets kids to really think about things that they hadn't thought about before, and I think that's one of the major themes of the book. Like I said, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. The materials are very simple. They're here for you. Anybody can have them, use them, change them, whatever you want. But this will be my contribution to our shared folder.